Hi there, and welcome to the Google Hangout with Mondelez International. I'm your host, David Netley. Today, we're going to be talking about our supply chain graduate program. We've been taking questions over the last couple of weeks to make this as informative as possible, and we hope we can address them all to help you make your decision to apply. Over the next half an hour or so, I'll be directing your questions to two people within Mondelez International. First of all, we have Nuala, one of our leaders, who works a lot with our early careers intake of the graduates, interns and school leavers. And we also have Heather, who is on our graduate programme for supply chain. They will introduce themselves shortly. For those of you who are watching this live, remember you can still tweet us your questions to @MDLZ, and we will try and answer these during the Hangout if we're able to and if we have time. For those that are watching this after the broadcast on YouTube or on our Early Careers website, please ask any questions in the comments box below and we will strive to answer them as soon as we can. So without further ado, I'm going to allow Nuala and Heather to introduce themselves. So Nuala, over to you first.
Hi David, hi everybody listening. So my name is Nuala Tumulty and I joined the Cadbury company on the graduate scheme in 2009. On the scheme I did 3 roles within supply chain. Firstly I did a material planner role which was based at our Bourneville office. I then did a distribution centre team leader role based at our Minworth distribution centre. And finally I did a customer fulfilment manager role based in our Sheffield office. I came off the scheme into our customer services department, so that's what we call the function that manages the supply chain relationship with the retailers. And then I supported the integration of Cadbury and Kraft customer services departments. Since then, I've been promoted twice within customer service to my current role of customer service development manager, where I look after the accounts of Sainsbury's and Waitrose. This role that I do now is also part of what we call the Customer Service and Logistics Extended Leadership Team, and that has allowed me to volunteer to be a representative for early careers. So as part of this role, I lead our CS&L early careers community, and I also support our school leavers, interns, graduates, mentors, and line managers as part of that. I work across the functions also to ensure the best ways of working for the graduate scheme across our wider business. Heather, over to you.
Thank you, Nuala. Hello, everyone. So my name is Heather Mallett, and I am currently a product change manager. So I'm on the 3rd year of the graduate scheme. I started in 2012 on the Craft graduate scheme. I originally went to York University, where I studied biology. I then came on the scheme 2012. My first placement was in product supply, where I looked after one of our external manufacturers. I then went across into Bourneville manufacturing, where I was a team leader. I am now currently product change manager, and I'm just about to move into a customer service manager role for Asda and Morrison's. So in terms of why I initially chose Mondelez as the company to work for, so I think one big thing for me was the brands. So these are massive brands that obviously everyone's heard of. We all grew up with them. It's a really big company with a lot of opportunity, lots of development opportunities, lots of growth opportunities, and also for me, being a global business, you've got those overseas opportunities as well. In terms of CS&L, so customer service and logistics really is a very broad function, and there's such a variety of different placements and job opportunities available. It really is all about end-to-end process, so it's everything from production planning all the way to more customer-facing side of the supply chain. I really do see it as the backbone of the business, and I think it's great because along with that you get interaction with so many different functions throughout the business.
Okay, thank you very much. Just to give a bit of background into what our supply chain graduate program is, the majority of the roles within supply chain sit within our what we call CS&L department. CS&L stands for Customer Service and Logistics, and as Nuala and Heather will go through with you throughout the next half an hour or so, you will see exactly what we mean by that. But if you do hear us say CS&L, that's what it stands for. It's our Customer Service and Logistics department. So over to the first question. I guess we'll start with you, Nuala, in terms of generally what is CS&L? What is the department?
Okay, so I'm just going to share a slide on my screen for a minute, David, so that you can see a little bit what I'm talking through as I go through it. So our customer service and logistics is the name for the function that looks after the supply chain cycle at Mondelez. So some of the responsibilities that sit within that. So starting from the top of the circle there, you've got MPD, which stands for New Product Design. So we project manage the new product design and implementation that happens across our business. The master data team are then responsible for ensuring all the master data in our systems, so our SAP system is set up correctly, which enables us to function as a business. Our demand planning team then forecast our future demand for products, which allows us to then communicate with manufacturing for our planning production within the UK, and also to communicate with other countries across Europe where our products are made, so that we can schedule our inbound production into the UK. We also balance stock around our UK network. So we have 4 regional ambient DCs where we need to move our stock between. We receipt that into there from manufacturing or from other countries. And we can also sometimes manage contract packing, which is where our product is produced off-site at a third-party manufacturer and come into our warehouse. So we manage all of that inbound production and then where it sits within the network. We then receive and fulfill customer orders against agreed promotional plans and also for base sales that happens within our customers. And we work collaboratively with our customers on supply chain efficiencies. We manage the product pricing within our systems, which then allows us to invoice our customers and also collect the payment. And we do an awful lot of service reporting and root cause analysis, which enables us to then optimize our service performance into our customers. Finally, we have a continuous improvement team that ensure we improve our efficiencies across the supply chain. So I'm just going to take you back. So I think what's just left to say is that I guess on our graduate scheme, there's opportunity for graduates to do roles across all of these different areas of the function. There's a lot of different areas of customer service and logistics, so you won't cover all of them within your graduate scheme. However, it gives you a good flavour for what you might like to do in the future. And we look for our leaders of the future to get a diverse range of experience across the whole of the supply chain cycle.
Okay, thank you very much, Nuala. Moving on from that, I guess if you're able to sort of expand upon that, is that where does CSNL sit within the business? Sort of which other departments do you interact with and how, I guess?
Yeah, so I like to think of CSNL as being the internal cogs of the business. So we keep the flow of information and also the flow of product going from start to finish. We're the team that plan how we're going to make our product and also how we're going to store it once it's been produced. And finally, ensure that it reaches our retailers and ultimately the store shelves for the consumer to buy. All the time and money that we put into designing, marketing and selling our products is wasted if the product isn't actually on the shelf when the consumer goes to pick it up. Therefore, actually, we're a really fundamental part of our business, and as a result, as a function, we interact with almost every other department that you can find. So, for example, our product development team work really closely with marketing and RD&Q. Our supply planning teams interact daily with our manufacturing sites. Our customer service and customer finance teams work really closely with our commercial function to deliver a strong relationship with our customers. And our customer finance team is also closely linked into our core finance team. And then I guess our continuous improvement team links in regularly with the European countries and to share best practices, I guess, continuous improvement for the whole of Europe.
Okay, brilliant, thank you. And moving on from that, I mean, that sounds like quite a large process. I mean, how big is the CSNL team within the UK?
So we're about 400 people in total, but about 100 of those are based at our in-house distribution site, which is in Minworth. We also have some external distribution sites which are managed by third-party suppliers, so kind of additional people which fall under the customer service and logistics umbrella but don't report directly into the Mondelez structure. So within the 300 people that are then office-based, about 250 of those are based in Bourneville. They're in our customer service, customer finance teams, supply planning, country fulfillment, logistics operations, and also customer logistics development. The final 50 of our team are based in Uxbridge, and they are our commercialization teams. That's made up of our product design, project management, and customization.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, the next question that we had came in was in relation to the sort of graduate program itself. Now, Heather, for graduates on the supply chain graduate scheme, how much will they have to travel within the UK?
Okay, so one thing to bear in mind coming onto this graduate scheme is that you will need to be mobile across the UK. There can be placements that will be in different areas throughout the 3 years. So the majority of placements will be in Bourneville, the home of Cadbury, and this is where most of our operational centre is based. However, you potentially could get a placement based in one of our Uxbridge offices as well. There is a potential to do a team leader role, either in manufacturing, which could be in Bourneville, so here in Birmingham, or in Sheffield, which is the home of Oreo Maynards. There's also a potential to do a team leader role in our Minworth distribution centre. So as you can see, there are a variety of places that you could do the different roles. So it is really key to be mobile throughout the 3 years and then going forward into your future career.
Okay, brilliant. And is there opportunity to travel abroad at all?
Okay, so yes, there is opportunities to travel abroad. However, it does depend on the particular placement that you're in. So if I just share a few of my examples, when I was in supply planning, I got to do a visit to Germany where I visited one of our external manufacturers in Germany. Currently in my current placement, so that's as a product change manager, we work a lot with new product launches that are happening, and what we'll do is when something's produced, we'll go and sign that first production off. So for example, this year I've been to Lithuania, Poland, Kulok in Ireland. So there definitely is the opportunity to do trips abroad. But like I said, the frequency will depend on the particular role that you're in.
Okay, thank you. Now, looking at that sort of working abroad aspect of it, Nuala, I'm going to direct this question towards you. Is there opportunity on the supply chain graduate scheme to actually do a whole placement abroad?
So I guess due to the diverse number of opportunities that are available in CSNL within the UK, and also because of the level of support and training that we want to ensure all our graduates get whilst you're on the 3-year scheme, we don't necessarily advise doing a placement abroad during those first 3 years. So some graduates have, for example, done a placement in Dublin, which is a different area of the business and a smaller type of business to work in, so a good experience, but still keeping the same level of support, and it's easy to kind of hop back. However, if that's something that you are really interested in, it's good to know that we really actively encourage it during the next kind of 2 or 3 years in your career. If you are on the graduate scheme, then when you come off, there's good opportunities then to be able to travel abroad. Within Mondelez, we actually have another scheme for that, and that's called the Globetrotters scheme, and that encourages people to apply for another country within Europe, and we do 12 to 18-month placements there when we transfer people to a different country to do a placement in Europe. And as well as doing then the active role within that country, there's also a whole network and cross-European projects that you can get involved in. So it's a really great opportunity if that's what you want to do as the next step in your career. If your preference is to actually work outside of Europe, or even to take a permanent role in another country once you've finished the scheme, then that's something that some other graduates have done during their year 4 and year 5 with the company. And our HR team are very able to support that, and there's always opportunity to apply for those roles through our internal job postings.
Okay, thank you very much. Moving on from that, as we sort of mentioned, with the supply chain graduate program, it is a rotational scheme. And so, Heather, I'm going to direct this next question to you. How much choice does one get for the placements, or are they all completely chosen for you?
Okay, so this is one thing that I see as a real benefit with the CSNL graduate scheme. You really do get quite a lot of choice in terms of the placements that you go into. And that's really great because, for example, my experience and the different roles that I've done will be very different to the next graduate. So you really can shape your own experience and your future career. So you'll get the opportunity to do roughly 4 to 5 placements over the 3 years. And considering that there's up to 20 different types of placements to choose from, you can see there really is a lot of choice, but it's not something that you'll choose by yourself. You have a mentor, you'll have your current line manager, and there'll also be early careers representatives that will be there to help you make the choice and think about what placement is best for you. It's something that can be quite challenging, but it's really, really rewarding because you really are shaping your own career, and you're choosing the placements that you ideally want to do.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you very much. Now, in terms of the supply chain graduate scheme, we know that it has a lot of interaction with other departments. So, Nuala, would someone be able to go into a different department like finance or HR sort of after the scheme, and how easy would that be?
Yeah, so that's definitely something that we would give people the opportunity to do if that was what they wanted. So we're always trying to support one of your placements on the scheme to be a cross-functional one. And we enable that to happen by working with the early career representatives in those functions to work out when the opportunities might be that you can move into. So some of the most common cross-functional placements that graduates have done in the last few years are into procurement, into business development in our manufacturing sites, or into our commercial team. So either sales based in the field or into our customer planning team, which is kind of the main link between our commercial and finance. And after the scheme, there's then always an opportunity to move between functions. And again, this is something that Mondelez actively encourages, to get a diverse range of experiences in your career. One thing I guess that I'd just like to call out is that if you're currently interested in a different department now, then I'd suggest applying to that department initially. So when it comes to our supply chain and CS&L assessment centre, we're looking for candidates who are actually going to be really passionate about supply chain and want to spend their whole career there.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, throughout all the different Hangouts that we've had, it's clear to see that we have many different graduate programs available. And so, Heather, I'm going to direct this next question to you. How much interaction with the other graduates and other sort of early careers intake in terms of the school leavers and interns will there be? Is it a big community?
Yeah, definitely. So within CS&L, we've got our own early careers community, and that stretches across graduates, school leavers, interns, and we tend to meet every couple of months to share our current experiences, how our placements are going, what kind of roles we're thinking about going into afterwards. It's good to know that when you start as well, you're actually given a buddy. So this is a graduate that's in the year above. They're there to help you settle in, someone that you can ask questions. So you've already got an immediate link to other year groups. Also, something that I'm just embarking on now, you'll take part in a graduate project in your third year, and this is where you take on a project for the full 12 months where you actually work in a cross-functional team. So again, that's another chance to really link with the other graduates in different functions. Also, as part of the CS&L Early Careers community, we are aiming to present leadership team meetings twice a year. So again, that actually connects the leadership team in with the early careers community. So as you can see, there are lots of different channels to interact, not only with different school leavers, interns and graduates, but also across functions and year groups as well.
Okay, thank you very much, Heather. I think we had a bit of a technical difficulty there, but it seems to be that everything came through fine, so we're happy with that. But if you did experience a disturbance in that, we apologise. I'm going to move on to the next question, though, in any case. In terms of the training that one receives on the supply chain graduate programme, what sort of training is there on the job? Nuala, would you like to answer that one?
Yeah, so I guess on our graduate program as a business is supported for our Early Careers Learning Academy. So that includes a series of different training courses which you undertake as a graduate year. And what's brilliant about that is you build your early careers community, like Heather was saying, not just within your function, but actually across the wider functions. And some of the things that are included on that are kind of a full business induction in week 1. You get some personal development workshops, the opportunity to think about self-awareness, project management and learning agility, and also being at your best. I guess when it comes to being based in the function, so each role that you'll do will ensure that you get a full kind of on-the-job training plan. So that will usually be a 2-week kind of process timetable of training and shadowing as you start a new role, and also with ongoing support kind of within that function. So you'll have a direct line manager for each role that you do that will be there to support you, and generally one or two people that you can link into with each role to enable you to kind of learn from that function. I guess the great thing about the graduate scheme is that you move on quite quickly, so you learn lots during the time that you're there, but you do have to be quite quick to pick stuff up because you're not there for very long, so you want to learn it quickly so that you can get stuck in. The other thing that we make sure that we always support our graduates with is a mentor, and that's somebody who is within the function but a more senior member, so a member of the leadership team within our function, who's there to kind of answer your kind of any concerns or queries that you've got for each role that you do. So not necessarily involved day to day, but there is someone you can always pick up the phone or go and sit and have a coffee with and just chat to if you've got kind of any concerns or any general questions about the company and its kind of at a top level.
Okay, thank you, Nuala. Moving on from the training question, we've had a couple of people ask about any sort of professional qualifications that you have the opportunity to study for during your time on the supply chain graduate program. Heather, would you be able to expand upon that? What are the sort of opportunities available for people wishing to undertake a professional qualification with Mondelez International?
Yeah, so we do have supply chain related qualifications that we're sponsored in doing, and it is dependent on the individual area that you're actually interested in. So in my case, I've done the Prince 2 Foundation qualification, and I'm currently working towards the Prince 2 Practitioner, so that's a project management qualification. However, there's also the opportunity to do Six Sigma qualification, and then the IGD, so that's the Institute of Grocery Distribution, do also offer a variety of industry-focused courses, and that's something, if your interest lies there, then that's something that you could potentially do as well.
Okay, thank you very much. So definitely a sort of wide variety of opportunities available for people joining our supply chain graduate program. We're coming up to the end of the questions soon, but Nuala, I'm going to direct this next one towards you. Is there a lot of scope for progression for the graduates after the program, and what do they generally tend to do after exiting the scheme?
Yeah, so I mean, talking from my own personal experience, so I was a graduate on our supply chain scheme, and I found that I moved up quickly after finishing the scheme due to the wide variety of experience that I'd gained in those 3 years, put me in a really strong position compared to my peers. I guess the other thing is that you, as we discussed before, you have a mentor when you join, you get a mentor from the leadership team who's able to help you build your network and find career progression paths for what you want to do. And that person will remain your mentor kind of after the scheme for as long as that relationship kind of works for you. The other thing I guess I'd say is that your development is completely driven by yourself, so it does depend on your own personal performance as well as your potential. So the best way to impact your progression after the scheme is by your performance whilst you're on it. So we have formal performance reviews at both mid-year and end of year, and then we also on our graduate scheme ensure that you have an end of placement review, which is done with your line manager and your mentor, where you look at your performance in the role that you've just finished and what you've achieved, but also at your longer term progression plan and your development plan for the kind of ongoing 5 years to check that you're kind of working against that and to see therefore what the best roles are for you to do next and what sort of things you need to be focusing on. The great thing is that your mentor attends each of those throughout the scheme so that you've always got one consistent point of contact who can support you through that. We do have a grading structure within Mondelez. Graduates when they exit the scheme exit as a experienced professional, and in the past, they've quite often gradually or progressed up relatively quickly to managerial positions, which involve either managing quite significant teams of people or actually significant category portfolios. So definitely our business trusts our graduates with a significant amount of responsibility relatively quickly if they've proven themselves whilst they've been on the scheme for the first 3 years. I guess the other thing to note is that our graduates are definitely well renowned within the business, and one of the reasons for that is we've actually got people who have joined the graduate scheme kind of 25, 30, 35 years ago who are now in senior leadership positions, both within supply chain but across our business, and that's, I guess, one of the ringing endorsements for our graduate schemes.
Okay, thank you very much. And Heather, I suppose in relation to what your plans are. I mean, what do you plan to do sort of after you've finished on the graduate program?
So I'm currently just transitioning into a customer service manager role where I'll be looking after service for Asda and Morrison's. So it's something that I'm hoping to stay on after the scheme to gain some more experience in a customer facing role. Then it would be great to progress into a more senior role, and something that I am thinking about doing as well, which I think Nuala touched upon earlier, was applying for the Globetrotters programme. So that's the potential to spend 12 to 18 months abroad within Europe, working in a different function on a different category. So I think that will be a fantastic opportunity.
Okay, brilliant. And final question, again, we'll go to you, Heather. What's been your highlight of the graduate program? What's been, you know, the sort of the standalone best moment so far?
I think one of the really great things in my current role as project manager has been working on an EU, so a European big bet project. So I had the opportunity to lead a project where I was working with 7 different manufacturing plants across Europe. I got to travel to Poland, meet all the members of the cross-functional team, and I really did gain a lot of exposure. And it was a really challenging project. And I think for me, that's been the kind of the one thing that really has been fantastic about the graduate scheme. And I guess that kind of highlights one of the real positives with the graduate scheme, is that you do get such immense amount of responsibility and experience really early on.
Okay, brilliant. Well, thank you very much. That was the Google Hangout for the Supply Chain Graduate Programme. Just a quick reminder, the applications do close on the 15th of November. You can apply online at www.mdlzearlycareers.co.uk. We're looking forward to receiving all your applications and sort of assessing people as and when they come through, and hopefully we'll have our new set of supply chain graduates starting with us next September. So I'm going to say goodbye. I'm going to say goodbye to Nuala and goodbye to Heather. Thank you very much for watching. Yep. Okay, thank you. Sorry about that. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you at the next Hangout, which is for our research development and quality internships that we're offering. You will see us on Tuesday, the 4th of November, same time, 3 p.m. on the Early Careers website. Thank you very much.